voices of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Podcast hosted live on our very own YouTube channel. Happy Friday afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you may be tuning in from. We're on a little bit earlier than normal, and that is because the last two group stage fixtures start at noon in exactly 1 hour. So we didn't want to stream while the games were going on. But nevertheless, it's your host as always. I'm Michael. He's Jacob. And welcome in to another edition, World Cup edition of this fine podcast. Jacob, how are we doing, my friend?
What a result this morning.
Crazy games this morning, man. Crazy games all around. This World Cup's been so exciting, but dude, today we'll talk about it, but Jesus Christ.
What a time. What a time. It was such a good game, such a good morning. A lot of things to be thankful for. December just rolled around. We're in the last final month of 2022. That's actually crazy to say if you think about it. Big ups to everyone who's out there. Big ups, to everyone supporting the channel. The channel's gotten a little bit of growth recently, and it's very fun to see, very exciting. So
shout out the Brazilian
big ups
folk.
if you're new. Big ups the Brazilians, and big ups everyone who's been here from the beginning. Everyone who's been helping us get things done, like talking ball. Big up Colin. It says big up United Spurs of America. Big up yourself. And also big up the one and only Aaron Dope. Says good evening.
What's going on, man?
Hello, lads.
Hope you're doing well.
Aaron, you and I know we were both celebrating yesterday, Michael. Aaron and I were celebrating in the chat of Irish Hotspur because they were doing a watch along, but it was the Germany game they were doing a watch along for. So Aaron and I were watching the Japan game and we were chatting with each other in the chat. A lot to celebrate with that Japan result as well. They actually finished like I know we're gonna talk about it. There's just so many things to talk about. I feel like a puppy in a candy store, or a kid puppy in a candy store, whatever the saying is. Anyway, I'm feeling great, Michael. Another weekly show, a little earlier than I'm used to for our Friday, so my body's a little off.
Yeah.
My body's like, I'm still trying to walk the dog, you know what I mean? But man, what a time. Big up Adrian Schroka as well in the chat. Says, good evening all. Come on, you Lions. Hey, big ups England. I'm actually glad I can root for Harry Kane now. Because next time if USA gets to see them, it would be in the final, which would be absolutely epic. If both teams are able to somehow conjure a way to get to the final, that'd be big, fantastic. But big up Adrian Schroka. Hope you're doing well. Come on, you Lions, indeed. Now, I will say that because obviously USA squeaked out the group. That was pretty exciting. Seems like old news now because tomorrow we really play the big boys. So,
yeah, man, it's gonna get things are gonna get real sweaty starting tomorrow, man. Tomorrow on,
gonna get
it's winter you go home. It's winter you go home. So
yeah.
No, for real, man. We had already talked about it a little bit, but this World Cup has been really, really exciting over the past week or so. I know there's been fantastic games across the tournament in its entirety, but man, it feels like the last 8 days, Jesus Christ, some of these games have been absolute bangers. Morocco getting some huge results, Japan getting some huge results.
Your world.
There has been so many countries that have been pleasant surprises in this tournament. You know, obviously Saudi Arabia beating Argentina to start the group stage for their play, but Poland coming through over Mexico.
No, that I don't know.
C.
No, don't. That's
it's
a rough
surprise,
spot,
though. It's a surprise nonetheless. I know it hurts, but I know. And then Australia.
You were on FaceTime with me earlier. You seen it?
Yeah, Australia qualifying in France's Group D over countries like Tunisia and Denmark. Tunisia even got a result over France. I know that France wasn't really playing for any sort of result, but nonetheless, man, a lot of countries getting through that I guess weren't technically favorites to advance to the knockout rounds. Obviously big boys like Germany, other countries like Uruguay this morning not advancing to the knockout rounds. And hey, you have to look at the Spurs perspective, obviously, because we're still Tottenham fans at heart. We want our Tottenham players to do well. We want them to stay healthy. A little bit of boring news is Rodrigo Bentancur went off injured in Uruguay's final group stage game. But look, some other Spurs players like Hotspur, they're knocked out of the tournament. They're not advancing to the knockouts. But look, me, the Tottenham fan inside, part of me is a little bit grateful. That way there's no further risk of injury. They can get back, get some rest, and get ready for Premier League play when we kick back off at the end of the month.
Yeah, but man, think about it. Heung Daddy into the next round. The scenes. Real quick before we keep going, I do want to say big up Goguma, big up Aaron Dub. We got some official supporters. So I just want to run through it. Just want to say thank you again to the continued support, the longevity support of our patrons. Big up Alan Sibley and Reyes Jr., the members of that Saki Undies Club and the Tennis Club. Here she is. Goguma's in the house. We also got Leo COYS from My High Hotspur and C. Shearman. Big up yourself, boys. In our official supporters group, we got Scott M, James George, Jaco, David, Aaron Dub is in the house as well. Big up Aaron Dub. Jamie and Jack Kanicki, big up yourselves. Thank you all. And in the Lovers Lane, Bobby K, Gina Kim, Tom Markinen, Colin, and CQ'd. Big up yourself. Colin, I added you to the Lovers Lane just because I love you, buddy. So I see you in the chat. Big up yourself, my friend. Adrian said it like you were saying. Bentancur, Hotspur, it's time to come home. So there are certain players that are coming home. Happy to see some of them come home. A little worrisome how much Harry Kane's playing. I don't want to see Harry Kane play too much, but you know, you just can't call it sometimes. How are you feeling about the workload that Harry Kane has taken? Because he started every game.
I didn't want him to start the last game, along with I think every other Tottenham fan. Just collectively, I just felt like it was a little bit of a risk to play him, or to start him, excuse me, after picking up that knock against the USA. But look, bottom line is he's still healthy. He was healthy enough to start and play, like 65 minutes or so. So look, it worries me a little bit because obviously he hasn't had the best injury record in terms of his ankles or, his hammies or, anything leg related. Let's be honest. But the guy's a machine. He's got the new, the physical trainer. He's got a new nutritionist and everything. Like, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, but it's obviously a concern because you never want any of these guys to get hurt, right? You never want to see him out for an extended period of time, especially going into the World Cup. How injured we were, especially in the attacking front. It's just, it'd be nice to have a fully fit squad coming out of this World Cup. I know it's not entirely likely. Obviously there's knocks here and there, but that's the hope, right? That's the hope.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely the hope. There's a good point brought up by Adrian Stroka. Spurs forward line still at the World Cup. Kane.
Let's talk about it, man. Let's get into it. Huge games today. Uruguay beats Ghana 2-0, and then in dramatic fashion, Heung-min Dad, Heung-min's son, delivers an incredible assist, counter-attacking play, and delivers an assist to Hwang Hee-chan to send South Korea through to the knockouts and beat Portugal 2-1. Jacob, we were obviously watching it together. We had talked about it afterwards, but dude, what an incredible game. That was probably one of the best, not only results in performances, but just the two games going on simultaneously. Uruguay and Ghana, South Korea and Portugal. The fact that the exact scoreline that South Korea needed to happen in both games actually happened, and obviously the last South Korean goal coming in extra time. What a game, dude. What a game. So happy for Heung-min Dad. But dude, how are you feeling right now, man? I mean, obviously we were watching it together, but Jesus. Kind of hits you afterwards how good of a game it was.
Oh man, I was through the roof. I was making pancakes for my son and I, and watching the game. Had it up on loud, and anytime they said the name Heung-min Son, I immediately looked to the screen, obviously, because he's the best player in the world, in my opinion, my favorite player in the world, at least, for what that counts for. And man, when I tell you, I was like, oh, he's got honestly, after Oh, sorry. Go ahead. After halftime, I was really saying I want to see something like he did in Burnley. I want to see Son take a run on, just run at the defenders with the ball and make something happen. And lo and behold, that's kind of what happened. The way he managed to get that pass off, wait for it, perfect timing. Shout out Wolverhampton. They got a great Korean
they basically had it. Portugal's entire midfield today was from Wolves.
His name is Heung Hee-chan, right?
Yeah, and then also Heung Hee-chan, but Ruben Neves
I'm gonna call him
played.
Heung him. He's
someone
him.
else had played too. Yeah, there was Wolves representation, man.
And he ripped that shirt off, and he was like flexing on him. I loved it. He's a fun player to watch. Whenever he first came to Wolves, he made an instant impact with that club. So it was actually very. I thought that he would do something. I knew they were going to look a little bit different because obviously Kim and Jay wasn't out there. But man, when I tell you the absolute scenes, my son got scared. This is always the tale for me. It's like a barometer.
Scare your son.
How excited do I get for a moment in a game, and how scared does my son get? And it's unfortunate because I'm not trying to scare him, and I give him lots of hugs and kisses and show him that it's a happy moment. But man, I did, you know, it was a great moment. I love me some Heung-min daddy, Heung-min son, in a big stage like this. The scenes at full time, couldn't get enough of it. Honestly, it was good that I got to see the end of the Uruguay Ghana game, but I did want to see more scenes from the. Honestly, I cared more about watching them than I did about because it was so beautiful to see when they scored. You could see how much it meant to them fans, and when I tell you like that's a factor in like a level of greatness that in my opinion is how much you can affect people with your play. And you saw the people when they scored. Absolute scenes. They were crying. I wanted to cry with them. If I was there, I probably would have cried, not gonna lie. And it was just a great moment. It was a great moment for everyone involved. And then lucky, so lucky. The heavens, the stars aligned because it was some kind of crazy ass scenario. We were talking about what's the probability that they go through before them getting kicked off.
10%?
10, 15. I said maybe
15%?
22% tops. Ah, man.
Here's a comment for you, Jacob. Heung Hee-chan isn't quite the Traore class,
but he is a bull. He is a bull. You see him flexing on him. Come on, Heung Hee. He is Hwang Him Chan. Come on, he is that guy.
Seen a lot of South Korean, Asian in general love in the chat. Of course, Japan qualifying as well in Group E. They knocked out Germany in group stage play of that group. Japan and Spain ended up going through, but at one point in yesterday's fixtures, or was it the day before? No, yeah, it was yesterday's fixtures. At one point, Costa Rica and Japan were going to go through, and it ended up being obviously Japan and Spain. But at one point, that was the possibility because Costa Rica was above Germany. But
it was a good moment. I remember
really good feeling. Moment. But hey, we had said it last week, man. We had said it. Japan, don't sleep on them. I know you officially picked them to advance, but I didn't. I still thought that Germany and Spain were going to qualify. But I did say, don't sleep on them. They have a shot. And hey, they ended up being the Group E winners, my friend. A lot of Asian love in the chat, though. And rightly so, man. Obviously, huge result for South Korea qualifying to the knockout rounds behind Portugal. And then, hey, we got to mention it again, man. Goal of the tournament, Richarlison for Brazil. Another incredible performance in their second match as well. They're ahead. They're leading their group, and they are one of the last matches that's going to be happening in about 45 minutes. So we'll see how Richarlison, if he is starting in this last game, because I don't believe they need any sort of result today. They're already qualified, so I don't know. We'll probably still see Richarlison, though. I highly doubt he'll drop Richarlison in the last game, but
you gotta drop a
Jesus Christ, man. Goal of the tournament still.
Oh yeah, goal of the tournament still. I think it's gonna be hard to unseat that man for goal of the tournament. Big up Right Hard Lane. Big up everyone in the chat. This will be a light and tasty little stream we're doing, because we will stop. Obviously, once the game kicks off, there's watch-alongs, there's games you want to watch. We're going to watch the game. So we will be ending this stream, like Michael said, before that game kicks off. But appreciate everyone tuning in. We got about 14 of y'all in the chat. Big up yourself. We got about 8 likes. So please, if you can, smash that like, whether you're live or on demand. Please do smash that like, as well as the poll while you're here. Thoughts on the group stage matches thus far. There's some fun choices. But either way, Ben Kaufman, shout out yourself. Hui Ting, Sunny World Class. Anyone who says otherwise is silly. I agree with that, my friend.
Yep.
Suarez is going to have to go home for a bite to eat. That's true. Yeah, big ups to chat. Ooh, look at this. My brother's in the chat. And this is looking cute in that color, brother. Nice. Thank you. This is my... Michael, I was telling you that the power of energy can be so strong sometimes. And normally, Son, whenever... He obviously has all of South Korea behind him, and then millions of fans across the world in excess to that.
Oh yeah.
You and I included. My brother was watching this, texting me about it, and I was really feeling like this may be the X factor, if you will, as to why I felt like Korea was going to get the job done and get a little bit of luck. And sure enough, you roll the fucking dice. What do you get? What do you get? What more can I say? Alligator souffle.
We had talked about it even before the game had even started. Either of the games had even started. And we were just like, dude, the magic of the World Cup, like anything can happen. And like we had already said, 10-15% chance that South Korea was going to go through at the start of the day when you woke up this morning. And look at it now, man. And it's only... This kind of stuff only happens in the World Cup, man. Like this, March Madness, obviously, there's a lot of upsets there as well, like across the sports landscape. But in general, man, the World Cup, anything can happen. And it proved true again today. It proved true again yesterday. Belgium not qualifying for the knockout rounds, and Morocco winning that group instead. Like, it just happens, man, because there's so many quality players across all of these countries across the world. And it's so special to see it on the biggest stage possible. But Jesus Christ, man, what a group stage so far. I'm so excited for the knockouts. And hey, we haven't mentioned yet, USA beating Iran to qualify for the knockout rounds in their last group stage game earlier this week. We play the Netherlands tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and then 5 p.m. UK time. So make sure to lock it in there, because look, I'm going to say it now. I've said it before, and I'll say it again before the match even starts. We're beating the Netherlands, my friend. We are winning tomorrow. I'm saying it now. I'm calling it.
Call it.
I said we were going to qualify second in the group. I didn't really think we were going to beat England, but look, I think we're going to beat the Netherlands, man. They're young. They're very strong. They've been very, very good so far in this tournament. Don't get me wrong. They were the top of the group, rightly so. But anything can happen in the World Cup, my friend. We saw it this morning, and I truly believe we'll see it again tomorrow.
Anything can happen. It's truly, truly the saying of this World Cup. I think you could say anything can happen in regards to the general bid for this World Cup. They're kind of like, anything can happen, especially if we pay some extra money. But they got the job done. The teams have been keeping it interesting. Let's go, America. Come on, Goguma. You know.
Colin's feeling it too.
I'm calling it too.
Hey,
Let's
look,
go.
I'm saying anything can happen. We've looked decent. We've looked strong. Look, we haven't conceded many goals at this tournament. Remember that. We haven't conceded many goals, especially from open play. We look good defensively. I know we've been shaky at times, but look, overall in the landscape, we've still kept a few clean sheets, and it's just about how much better can we perform in the attacking front, right? We haven't scored many goals in this tournament, but look, anything can happen. We have some young guns, hungry. Timmy Weah already showing out. Christian Pulisic obviously showing out in the last game.
Put his dick on the line.
Put his dick on the line. Anything can happen, my friend. Go USA.
Anyone who didn't watch that game, USA versus Iran, Christian Pulisic with the game winner goal. He won it with the groinal region. He had a pelvic contusion, and he was subbed out at halftime. Pelvic contusion is word for bruised penis, and he went out there. He put it all on line, and really, when you get down to the nitty gritty, he showed you what America's all about. We're gonna get it done. whether it's head, dick, or balls, will get the job done. And for me, that was just a really welcoming sight because he needs to keep. They're calling this his Landon Donovan moment. Okay, and Landon Donovan, if you don't know, this is a man that is my wife's favorite American player for whatever fucking reason. She had a huge crush on him back in the day, and she's like, he's America's hero, whatever. But I loved his interview after the game. Christian Pulisic said that, you know, when they called this his Landon Donovan moment, he says, I hope that moment has yet to come. I hope I haven't lived it yet. My goal, he wants greatness to continue to happen, and I think that will happen for him with that kind of mindset that Tyler Adams has. These are guys that are starting to really blossom for the States, and honestly, it's such a sexy thing to see. It's salivating that we've made it out of the group. I'm so happy that we've made it out of the group. There's a lot of results that I've been super happy about. I've been correct on a lot of predictions. I've also been incorrect on a lot of predictions. And I think that's the fun of the World Cup in general. But I did predict USA to make it out this motherfucker, and they did. And the Netherlands, they're no joke. But at the same time, we may surprise some people, like you said, Michael. That's going to be a fun matchup. It starts tomorrow. I can't wait to get it kicked off. It feels a little quick because I just celebrated Heung Daddy getting to the next round, while I'm now tomorrow got to turn around and be red, white, and blue. You know how I do after a very short time. They don't give you much time to enjoy these wins, but it'll be fun. So you predict USA to beat Netherlands?
I do. What about you?
Okay. I'm gonna predict. I'm not gonna bet against USA. I will not, because obviously, red, white, and blue. How do you do? Is how I feel. It is always how I feel. Look at that.
I have a question for you.
That's nice.
And it's partly because Colin asked it in the chat, and I think it's a really good question. He says, who do you two have to win it all? But I'm going to add an extension on it, Jacob.
Extendo.
Who did you have to win it all at the start of the tournament, and who do you think is going to win it now?
At the start of the tournament, I had picked Argentina, Lionel Messi with Christian Romero. I just thought it was they showed no weaknesses at any position. But then I'm watching Lautaro Martinez try to finish, and he looks like Bambi on ice skates out there, slicing and dicing like it's his first time playing. So maybe those are behind him. Maybe now he's getting in his groove, and they will be that dangerous threat. They just needed to make it out that group, and they barely squeezed out that motherfucker. So big ups to them. It's hard to not pick them because I'm afraid if I bet against them, then they're gonna do what I originally said. So I feel like I should stick with my original answer and say Argentina. But if you want my heart, my heart final would be USA versus Korea. Heung Daddy with a hat trick. I mean, come on. That'd be my ideal.
I love it.
That's just how I feel. But what about you?
I had Argentina at the start of the tournament. We talked about it before the stream, man, but I just think Brazil have looked so impressive so far, so dominant, even against quality sides. They've obviously beaten a few teams already. They still have one game left to go, but Richarlison looks really good. Vinicius Jr. looks so good. Casemiro obviously scored the other day for them. Their back line looks solid as ever. It's just hard to go against them right now, man, honestly. I don't know if there was a more dominant team to start this World Cup than Brazil so far. And obviously a lot can change and they can lose the last game, but I think other than France, Brazil has been the most dominant team so far in this tournament. And with the quality of teams that they've played also, don't forget that they've played quality teams so far. I still think that Brazil, they've just shown too much for me to pick anyone else right now.
They're a fun bunch to watch. It's unfortunate because I do feel like they're going to finish top of the group, which is good for Brazil, not good for my South Korea hopes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I still believe in anything can happen, and you just never know in these damn World Cup games.
Yeah.
I'm also really interested to see if England versus Senegal. That's going to be a really dicey game. I feel like it's going to be a low key, like tricky game.
I predicted it. I predicted at the start of the tournament that Senegal would qualify second.
Yeah, you did.
And it ended up happening. I actually didn't think it was going into the last match day, but Lord and behold, Kalidou Koulibaly ended up scoring for Senegal to give them qualification into the knockout rounds. Hey man, do not sleep on Senegal, but I do think that England's just going to be a little bit too much. They haven't been playing their best ball. They didn't play well against the USA. They didn't play particularly well. They actually, they did play well in their last game. So yeah, never mind. England's going to be too much for him. I think England's going to win that matchup. I think France is going to beat Poland. Jaco, you asked who the United States are going to be playing in the quarterfinal. Look, Australia, they've been a great story so far. Love me some Socceroos.
I love it.
It's Lionel Messi in the World Cup, and it's the knockout rounds. I'm not betting against him. I think we're going to play Argentina in the quarterfinal. Going around the board, I'll just go real quick, Jacob, and then you can give yours. I think Croatia are actually going to beat Japan. Croatia's been here before. They've been much further. Obviously, they got to the final last time. They know what it takes to get here, and they know what it takes to move on. I have Croatia just edging them out on experience. I unfortunately think Brazil's going to win that group, and I think they're unfortunately going to beat South Korea. And here is my I don't even know if you could consider it an upset, because Morocco won obviously their group and Spain didn't, but I'm taking Morocco over Spain here in that matchup down below. And then I have Portugal qualifying with whoever qualifies for second place. They've been really good. Obviously, not the best performance against South Korea, but it's also Portugal in the knockout rounds, man. They've been here before. They know how to get it done. What about you? You're muted, by the way.
Oh, rookie mistake. I'm gonna root for Morocco over Spain just because my wife always roots for Spain, and that's a touchy subject. So she's gonna be feeling Spain without the S, my friend. After they, I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, and then I can give her a big old hug afterwards. Morocco, they've got a lot of quality. This was like you've mentioned. This was a scarecrow pick that we both picked to make out of the group, and they did. They proved us right, which I always love any team that can do that. So honestly, as far as that bottom bracket goes, I'm Morocco all the way up until they reach either France or England. But Portugal versus who? Who you saying is going to make it second in the group that we're about to watch?
Well, going into this one, obviously Brazil is the top, with Switzerland behind them and Cameroon and Serbia following them. If you look at the matches today, you have Cameroon and Brazil, and then Serbia against Switzerland. I think Serbia is going to get a result. I do think Serbia is going to get a result.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they qualify for the last 16. I have Serbia moving on. I had them at the start of the tournament, qualifying second in this group. Don't forget, I actually did think that Switzerland were going to qualify after that first game, or after the second game, excuse me. But look, man, Serbia, they have some class in there. Milinkovic-Savic, Mitrovic up top. They have some good cats, man. Kostic is in there too.
Colin like
They've been playing well. Unfortunate results. Unfortunate that they played Brazil in their first game. But look, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, or unluck of the draw in their case.
Yeah, but look, the thing with Serbia though,
I have them going through.
The thing with Serbia though, that I find funny is that Vlahovic, which was this like 100 million signing from Juve, from Fiorentina,
he hasn't been starting for him.
He hasn't even been starting. And there was also rumors that he slept with the goalkeeper's wife, and there's just all type of drama going on. So it's kind of funny. You saw the drama with the Belgium locker room, and look what fucking happened to them. Yep. Lukaku couldn't hit the blind side of a barn door, but that's just, it was kind of funny, honestly, for me to watch yesterday. But I can definitely see them squeaking out the result, getting through. But what happens if Brazil throws it to Cameroon?
It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting because Cameroon's right there with 1 point as well. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. Serbia
but
have massive
Brazil
firepower, but cannot defend even with Milinkovic.
Hey, but Brazil has probably the deepest squad in the tournament. Also, you have to remember that. So even if they don't play their strongest 11 today, it's still better than I would say over half of the 11s in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I guess Gabriel Jesus will bag a couple own goals and a goal for Brazil.
Yeah.
He'll definitely get some big chances.
It's going to be a tough task for Cameroon, but look, it was a tough task for South Korea earlier today. They qualified. It was a tough task for Japan as well. They qualified. Anything can happen, man.
It needed to be perfect for Sonny and the South Korea beautiful boys to go through, and they did. I'm so like.
Has your Golden Boot prediction changed at all?
Yes, definitely, because I picked Sonny, and there's no way he's gonna have to bag like 4 or 5 versus Brazil, and unfortunately, he's like the entire engine for that offensive attack sometimes, and so my Golden Boot will change. I don't want to piggyback on your pick because it's such a fun pick to piggyback on. Because
it was obviously much more unrealistic than what it is now. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of just saying it because, you know, just fuck it, like COYS. But
yeah, come on,
man, it might not be a bad pick after all. He's already got 2 goals, and he's still got 1 group stage game left. You never know what's gonna happen to day 2. He could bag a Hattie for all we know.
Who's in the lead then for the Golden Boot?
Right now?
Yeah, they must only have like 3 goals.
There's a bunch of people tied with 3. Morata, Gakpo, Valencia, Mbappe, and Rashford.
Yeah, Valencia's out.
And guess who has the most assists in the World Cup right now?
Harry Kane?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
With 3.
Come on, Harry. Come on, Harry. I love to see it.
Ivan, and then shout out Ivan Perisic, 2 assists in their last group stage game as well. He was balling out. They qualified.
There was a couple moments I was watching that game where I thought Perisic could have done better going forward. He was definitely
class trumps all, my friend.
Hey, at the end of the day, he was still getting them assists, but I was just really I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Luka Modric. I know he's not Spurs, but you know, it's hard to not root for that guy. He's such a likable guy. I've been enjoying watching how do you say it? Josko Vardiol. He's been a lot of fun to watch, but it sucks.
The center back that I wanted in the summer, and
I want him so bad now. I want him so bad now.
He's gonna be even more expensive this next summer, bro.
Drop the bag, fuck it, bro. We need him. Let's get a center back in January. Get Vardiol in the summer, and then we could shore up them back 3 once Romero's healthy. And then we got to get somebody on the right.
Hey, by the way, news just came in recently. Christian Pulisic is available to play tomorrow. So
Cock of steel.
Just further reaffirms my prediction, my friends.
Cock of steel.
What can I say? I haven't gotten too many predictions wrong, I don't think, so far in this World Cup.
You didn't pick Japan.
I did not pick South Korea either. And I also... Well, actually, okay, you know what? Never mind. I've gotten plenty of picks wrong. Because I also predicted Belgium to qualify, Germany to qualify, Denmark to qualify, Mexico to qualify. Yeah, unfortunate.
I did pick Mexico to qualify too. But see, a lot of my picks were from the heart and not from the brain, because the World Cup is a time to dream with your heart, I think. And I love it. J-Co is he's ready for South Korea.
This matchup.
Don't tell South Korea they can't beat Brazil, but
oh yeah.
Croatia Japan's gonna be.
He's talking about the Croatia Japan matchup right now. That one is gonna be so good, man. I just think, like I said, it's gonna be a close one, but I think the experience and just the sheer will of the Croatians, man, is just gonna slightly edge out the Japanese.
Too much.
Just been here before. They've done it before. Like, come on, man. And they still have that core group of players from the last World Cup too.
That's so true, because, I mean, if you think about it, they got what, 2nd place last World Cup. They got salty.
And they still have the majority of that core from the last World Cup too.
So you know, they all think about it. They would love to see France in a final again, I think. And you know what? I hope they can do something good, because you know, if Perisic can come in flying high, then who knows? Maybe he can bag his first fucking goal for Spurs. Because a lot of this I'm watching through the lens of how is this going to translate for Tottenham. What can this do? Except for USA, that's just strictly Homer pig. But and South Korea, that's just strictly boner pig. So, but all the other teams I'm watching solely because of Spurs. And it's like with the thing with Richarlison. People didn't want to get too excited with his crazy ass goal because, like, okay, but what's he going to do for Spurs? He's got 2 goals in Champions League, 2 assists in the Prem, I believe it is. So I'm curious to see how it's going to translate, but I'm also just so fucking happy for the guy. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing with Sonny. Like, I'm not necessarily looking at how this is going to translate for Spurs, but this is good for Heung and Daddy. I'm happy for them as a person. So it's a really strange time of year because normally it's just all Tottenham right now. Don't talk to me unless it's about Tottenham. And it's weird sharing, like kind of opening myself for all the other fun experiences. But geez, I think the round of 16 is going to be even more crazy than the group stages. We saw a lot of upsets throughout the group stages. I think it was very fun to look through some of those. What is your biggest upset from the group stage matches?
Honestly, man,
or biggest really, surprise? Not
it's
upset.
Really hard to not pick today's game, South Korea against Portugal, and then what the result meant for the group, like overall. I just think it's really hard to beat that. Morocco had some really, really good wins in this tournament. Canada got absolutely curb stomped, by the way. I told y'all they weren't going to win a single game in this group stage.
You did tell them. You did.
I think I have to go South Korea, man. I have to. I did not pick them to advance in this tournament. I thought they had a shot of being at the bottom. And look, they proved me wrong. And it was at the expense of what I thought was going to be one of the best teams overall in the tournament, and who I thought was going to make the deepest run out of this group. And I thought it was going to be Uruguay. They deserve everything that they got today, South Korea. And I hope that they... Yeah, I'm just going to say it, man. I hope they upset Brazil. Even though Richarlison's on the other team. It would just be so fun to see.
Absolutely.
What about you? Biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise, it's got to be Australia making it out of the group. That is not one.
That's another good one.
I definitely saw Denmark making it out.
Yeah,
I didn't think Tunisia was going to make it out. I didn't really think Australia was that strong of a team. I know in our show we also had Jack Kanicki on, and he said that he thought this was one of Australia's weakest teams they've ever put out in a World Cup.
Yep.
And it just shows time and time again that, like,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Anything's possible. I didn't pick Senegal to make it out the group. They did. Sadio Mane-less.
Hey, I said they would
do it. That's impressive as well.
I said they would do it. I thought especially after the first or probably even the second game, I thought Ecuador had a real good chance of advancing, man, and I thought they would.
So did I. I was feeling it.
Look, Senegal pulled it out at the end. What can I say? Really good result.
I guess also I felt so strongly about Ecuador as well because of how they performed versus the Netherlands. But in the end they lost that game regardless of the fun goal and the guy hitting the C. Which I wanted to ask you another follow-up question. What's been your favorite shithouse moment of the tournament? Because that's mine. I just have to share mine. Is if you missed it, when Ghana played the Netherlands, they were up 3-1. They subbed everybody off, including Cristiano Ronaldo. And who was it? Who was it that?
What?
From Ghana, was it Kudus?
Who what?
Who hit
the C? No, I think it was a striker who came on.
I don't know who it was, but he hits a goal to go 2-3. So they're down 1 goal now, and there's like 5 minutes left to play. And instead of getting the ball and, like, you know, hurrying it up so they could try and bag another one to get the draw, he runs over and he does Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration. Then they cut to...
It's probably that one, or didn't a Saudi Arabia defender, like, get in Messi's face after they won or something, like, or after they scored the second goal or something like that? I forget.
I would give it to the Saudi fans after they beat Argentina. That was some fun shit. I was in because they were all saying, "Where's Messi? Where's Messi?"
You know, no. I think the best shithousery moment, and what I saw, it's gonna disappoint you. It's gonna make you sad, but it was funny. And from the neutral point of view, was the Saudi Arabia fans laughing and, like, yelling at the Mexico fans after the full-time whistle when they found out that Mexico weren't going on. The Saudi Arabia fans were shit. They were shitting on the Mexico fans in the stands, and honestly, it was pretty funny. I can't lie. I'm sorry, Jacob, but I think that's probably up there also.
That hurts.
Because you can't say anything back. Like, you're knocked out too. You know what I mean? Like, Can't say anything back.
But like, why did they do that? They didn't have to do that. I don't know. That's just, why couldn't they just not score that goal? All right, and then they could have made it a little more interesting for Mexico. When they scored that goal against Mexico, that was I would say that's the biggest heartbreaking moment of the tournament for me.
Biggest disappointment?
Yeah, for sure.
Would that be yours?
Yeah.
Damn.
From an emotional standpoint,
Yeah,
because
I can understand.
I'm laying in bed watching this game with my wife and son, Mexico versus Saudi Arabia, and we're also like, I have on my phone keeping up with the Argentina-Poland game, and there was just so many moments where it was like, it was like the South Korea thing. We have a chance for this. We need everything to go our way, and then Mexico can go through, and they didn't. They weren't. It was just a heartbreaking moment. My wife was on the verge of tears. She was so upset, and so that hurt me. I was hurt for the Mexicans out there. I could see the pain on their face. Every single World Cup, they put it all on the line, and that's really something that I admire from the Mexicans as a national team. Every time they go out there, they put their heart on the line. Unfortunately, it's just not enough sometimes. Heart can only go so far, which gets them to the World Cup, which is an accomplishment in itself. Say what you will about CONCACAF, but that's a thick-ass competition. You saw what the likes of some of these teams can do. So, man, it's just fun to see. Really fun times. This World Cup has been more than I thought it would be. More fun, at least for me. Every day waking up, like, who's playing who, what's going on, tracking stuff, and I'm
just glad that there was so much drama at the end of a lot of these groups. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the groups had to be decided on the final day. Like usual, but it was just nice to get that rush of adrenaline feeling again when you really look at it from a neutral standpoint. And especially when your team is one of those that needs a result on the last day, it's even that more dramatic, especially for us being from the United States. It was a very, very nervy lead up to the final game, but we were obviously really excited and really, really nice to be able to say that we advanced to the knockout rounds. It's more than what Canada or Mexico can say.
And you know what? It gives you a little bit of bravado when you speak with your friends who are fans like Scott, or I just see Bobby K just popped up in the chat. Big up Bobby K.
Rip
Canada. But you know
what?
It's
okay.
Bobby K,
but rip.
Your neighbors.
We got you.
We got you.
We're going to beat the Netherlands for you.
Your neighbors got you, buddy. Join on with your buddies. Seep Sopa with some strawberries. I like that.
Hell yeah.
I could go for some strawberries. But we got a little bit of bragging rights, which is nice. But really, this World Cup, I've said it 1,000 times on group chats on YouTube, whatever, that for USA, really, I looked at this World Cup as more of a chance to get some confidence going into the 2026 World Cup, because obviously we're going to host it. We don't have the pressure of qualifying. So we're really going to go into that, in my opinion, with some high expectations. I think we are going to have to make it out the group. We're going to have a larger weight on our shoulders come that time. So I really wanted to see how these young U.S. kids are going to play, basically. And the kids are all right, man.
They're all right.
We're doing all right. And it's a welcoming sight. It's fun to see. It's something exciting. And it also gets me excited for the next World Cup as well, because now my expectations are higher. Now my eyes are even more burning on the back of these player heads, because I'm watching. The whole world's watching. USA's watching.
Yep.
Everyone's watching, because you know what? We, like you said, made it out further than anyone in CONCACAF. Yes, I know Canada finished on top of qualifying in CONCACAF, but you can still argue that we're the strongest team right now in CONCACAF. So bring it on is what I say to the world. And Michael, when we first started this show and you were talking about Netherlands are going to get their ass whooped, we bringing it to them. You know what? I was a little nervous. I was a little afraid to say anything on air for it being on the record. But you know what? Fuck them, bro. We're going to take it to their ass.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be like Spurs and Ajax. Come on.
I'm telling you, man.
I really feel like it's going to be something crazy. Some out of nowhere, maybe like a substitute like Gio Reyna or not Paxton Harrison, Brendan Harrison one of them coming off the bench getting a brace or something to win in stoppage time. The absolute scenes, it'll be amazing. So get your tickets now while you can on the bandwagon. It's a wagon that I'm building for all the people who can get behind USA right now.
All are welcome.
Tickets are discounted right now, but come time when we beat Netherlands, yesterday's price is not today's price.
No.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. So get your tickets ready. Get your popcorn. I think it's going to be a fun game tomorrow. I think we got a couple more fun games coming up too here before we sign off. We're coming up here on the end. So before we do sign off, I do want to make sure, please smash that like. It helps the channel grow in ways that you cannot imagine. As well as if you are interested in becoming a patron member, I will drop the link in the chat, right? Meow. Oh, no, disregard that. Let me remove that one. That was not the right page. Let me get that right page. I'm going to put it in the link. If you want to help this channel grow in a way further than just liking and participating in the chat and comments, etc., I encourage you to go to this Patreon link, become a supporter. There's a few clubs there you can look over. We've had some patron members in the chat, so big up yourselves.
Big up.
Yeah, Bobby K, sorry. We were just doing a stream actually in between all the watch-alongs and all the games, because there's a kickoff in about 11 minutes from now. So we don't want to be going while that is going, because obviously it's the World Cup. Your eyes are to be covered with mostly green, and that doesn't mean Michael and I. So that's right, Goguma. Toot, get up on the USA train because it's rolling through town. Tickets are discounted right now. There you go. I did put that. I pinned it in the chat. So if you do want to become a patron member, click that link, see what kind of club you want to be a part of. Again, if you don't want to do that, just hit the like on this video, hit the subscribe, help this channel grow. You know what? I always say, I haven't said it in a while, but share this with your mother, your brother. They want to watch this. They want to be a part of this channel's growth. So do hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this with your friends.
Hell yeah. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Just want to say my final thought before I kick it over to Jacob. Hold your loved ones close. Hold them very tight. Very, very grateful to be on with you, Jacob. Very thankful for you, my friend. Love you. And love everyone in the chat as well. Hope you guys stay safe over this next week or so. And please enjoy, but stay safe out there these last World Cup games if you are in Qatar. And if you're watching from home, man, these are going to be some exciting matchups coming up. I'm excited. And don't forget, the USA is winning tomorrow. What about you, Jacob? What's your final thought?
I like that. Don't forget USA all the way. USA, dare to be great. We can keep going, but kickoff's about to happen. So what I will say for my final thought is simply, I want to echo what you said. Hold your loved ones close, and also enjoy the moment. I enjoyed a hell of a moment today with Sonny and Korea qualifying for the round of 16. For me personally, that was a great moment. I know for a few of our patron members as well, that was a big moment. So it's just one of those things. You may not always get to taste greatness, but sometimes it's just good to enjoy the ride along the way. And this has been a fun ride, especially watching USA, Korea, because those are some teams that obviously for very personal reasons you root for. So I'm just enjoying the moment, enjoying doing this with you, Michael, enjoying bringing some content to all the people who digest this every week. So big up yourself if you're here in the chat. Big up yourself if you watch this back on demand. But you know what? I'm thankful as well. It ain't even Thanksgiving anymore. It's December. We got Christmas lights.
Time.
Yeah, it's Christmas shit. So definitely a good time for family, huggins, and all that. So we will keep bringing this weekly stream for you. So again, thank you for everyone. You know, last week we were later than usual. This week we're earlier than usual. But I just want to say thank you for everyone participating today. It's been a fun little stream. Again, this is such an exciting time. Can't wait. Hopefully next week when we're chatting, we're talking about what's USA going to do now.
Yep. It'll be interesting, man. Obviously, there's going to be some really exciting games that start not in the round of 16, but the quarterfinals. They're actually starting on next Friday as well. So I think we'll probably go the same plan as today. We'll probably be live, same time, same place, at 11 next week. because the second quarterfinal matchup is on Friday at noon our time, which is 30 minutes before we usually start. So we'll probably be on same time, same place at 11.
Might go a little earlier
in between those games. Yeah, maybe a little bit earlier too. Maybe a little earlier. But keep it locked regardless. And thank you guys so much for listening to another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast. And as always, click the like, click the subscribe, hit the follow button on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify. We'll see you guys next week. Up the lads. And Jacob?
Come on, USA and Sonny.
Goes.
United Spurs of America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.